The Big Dog Postgame Show is brought to you by Viener X Consulting. We make your company work. And by Rick Jacklich, the big dog himself, at the Jacklich Law Group.
Good afternoon from Annapolis. Maryland takes it. They go to the Final Four, 9-6 over Georgetown. This is the Big Dog Postgame Show. To my left, Tony Wheeler. I'm Wayne Viener, Mason, and the legend Bruce Posner. Here, Bruce, got to start as always. What'd you see out there today?
I saw a typical Maryland championship kind of win to get to the Final Four, 9-6. 9-7 against Cornell, 9-6 against Ohio State. A Big Ten game, strictly a Big Ten game. And Kevin Warren, they were ready. They were ready for us. It was not easy. It took all of our scores, only the one breakaway by Gordy Combs, which he's never scored before. Was unusual goal. The rest of them were passes, and finally a goal. I don't know how many assists there were on the 9 goals, but I'm sure there was a lot. And Daniel Kelly, first goal and the ending goal. All right, and that ending goal put a cap on it. 3-goal lead with 3 minutes left. That was it. But the face-offs, I think the unsung hero of this game, well, you can't leave out Will Schaller. It's another story. But the unsung hero in this game was Joni Carrier, because Keeler had problems. He was, I think, 0-6, and Carrier, was he 9 for 12, something like that, 9-3?
It ends up 9 of 18. Maryland gets it evened up.
Right, and it's because of the way Carrier played, and that was crucial because Georgetown was kind of getting control of the game at 4-3. But from that point on, they didn't do so well in the faceoffs. Great win, Tillman, 11 for 14, all right, 11 for 12 in quarterfinal games, and we all know the one was stolen from us by Virginia. Sorry about that, Lars, but that's the fact. And wonder what Quint had to say afterwards, Tony.
We'll get to watch this on TV when we get home. Mason, record crowd, 17,700 plus. You were on the field for a bit. Did it feel like a championship level game?
It did, and it really feels like the Final Four should be in a stadium this size somewhere in this state. I don't care if we have to build one. We might have to go Field of Dreams for it. But it is time to bring the Final Four back to College Park or back here to Navy and play it in a venue that will be sold out. And today with I think that's about half the capacity of the stadium, it was a great environment.
It's probably a little more than half because like these seats you can't fill in the back seats because it'd be dangerous. So I think it's probably about a 32,000 capacity.
By the way, we're here in the corner out of the wind. I know it's a little dark, but there's a lot of happiness in this corner. Tony, from a Georgetown perspective, they talked about how happy they were to be here. They played a really tough game, and they stayed in it. It wouldn't have been that big a surprise that Georgetown actually found a way to win.
They turned the ball over on their 6 first possessions and were just totally disjointed. Their wing play on the faceoffs is actually what really kept them in the game early. Keithler's 0 for 6. He probably wins the clamp on the first 3 or 4 of those and just can't dig it out. Georgetown's got a lot of young players. Their goalie's a sophomore. Their face-off guy's a freshman. Their best defenseman is a sophomore. They're starting a freshman at attack. They've just got young guys all over the field. You knew with the familiarity of the programs that Kevin Warren probably wasn't going to do anything to really let Maryland get too far out. I'll say this, though. Early in that game, first quarter, Maryland takes, I think, 11 or 12 shots. They only get 2 of them on goal. A couple more of those get on goal, things might go different. Maryland's kind of bad shooting lets Georgetown hang in, and once they hang in, then you get Aiden Carroll started, you get Fulton Bayman started, Georgetown settles in, and it becomes a game.
I want to ask Wayne a question.
Well, we're going to go to break, so we'll take that question after we come back from this word from Viener X. We'll be back in Annapolis in a moment.
The Big Dog Postgame Show is brought to you by the Big Dog himself, Rick Jacklich at the Jacklich Law Group, and by Viener X Consulting. If you need internet, don't pay the rack rate, pay the insider rate with Viener X.
Still here in Annapolis, and we're still happy. Mason, you dissect these games. You and Tony get to pick these games apart. What did you think when Georgetown got that short lead at 4-3?
I really thought we were in trouble that we were shooting a lacrosse ball today. But when you look at Maryland and you look at the way they played this game, Tony, the hedging on the slides, the change of rhythm against a team that you hadn't seen since January, and that's an exhibition, so everyone's going to play in those games. But the way that Tillman and Jesse just changed the game, it's almost like you're playing 3 different teams or 4 different teams in 4 different quarters. It's unlike almost anything that you see in sports.
Yeah, Georgetown could not get inside at all. One of their starting, freshmen is at attack, a guy named Jack Ransom, who scored 9 goals a couple of games ago. He had 2 games where he had combined 16 goals. He got 2 shots today, and that was it. There was nothing happening on the interior, and that's all because of what you're saying, Mason, about how Maryland, and Coach Warren talked about it in the postgame press conference, that Maryland is really good at confusing teams about whether they're going to slide or not slide, or they're going to go or they're going to not go, and they kept Georgetown off balance. Georgetown, most of their damage was happening from outside.
Hey, you mentioned a good point, Tony. I think Georgetown had the ball about 9 times trailing by 1 goal at 6-5 and could not convert. I kept thinking to myself, both teams, we didn't do anything. You stayed at 6-5 for so long, and then that was that when it was 7-5, and then Daniel Kelly put it to sleep at 9-6. But Georgetown really struggled. It was a defensive win today, and Will Schaller, he's All-American, best defender in the country for my money. All right, and of course, then there was Logan.
Sure.
Well, I think that just goes to the flow of the game. Maryland continuously works the ball. They work the ball. They work the ball. They're looking for the inside pass. Urksa finally gets the roll dodge inside, puts one in. Maryland just doesn't give those goals up. No one's rolling inside on Maryland. If you watch, the Eric Spanos highlight reel and try and find over John Tillman's entire tenure goals like the ones that he scores inside, you just don't find very many of them.
So, Wayne, you've been involved with lacrosse for about 12 years or somewhere around there.
At this level, yeah.
Okay, at this level. Do you realize, and I'm sure you do, how insane it is that Tillman is 11 for 14 on Final Fours and 11 for 12 now in the quarterfinal game, the only game of which was stolen from us? How do you feel about it? Because I was a fan I sat there with before Tillman,
right,
where they just couldn't get to the Final Four.
Right.
And you saw Syracuse react, what it meant to them.
It's hard to imagine the other side of this. I can relate with this program. And, I follow Maryland football. It doesn't get anywhere near this. And the basketball team's been trying to get back to 2002 for 23 years now, and that hasn't happened. And this place just wins.
A couple quick things, interesting notes. So Maryland's 30th Final Four appearance happening this coming weekend overtakes Johns Hopkins for the most in NCAA tournament history.
Bruce can use that at a cocktail party later this week.
I'm sure Bruce Love, he can maybe
my Hopkins friends are ecstatic that we're back in the Final Four.
He can maybe remind some of our favorite ESPN broadcasters of that.
Right.
The other thing, Logan made, this is the 50th game in his storied career where he made 10 or more saves. One thing left to remember about Logan, every year he's been the starter for Maryland in goal, they've gone to championship day.
Yeah. I said that to him in interviews afterwards.
Yeah, we'll see that. My favorite play of the game was Logan baiting Aiden into shooting a ball from about 30 yards out that looked like it was going in until here comes Logan flashing across the goal like a wide receiver who was wide open and steals that.
How about this, Mason? Daniel Kelly scored the first goal again. I mean, it must be how many games in a row that he got the first goal, all right? And he got the last goal to put it away, and he only took 4 shots.
Very efficient, which is the other thing that Kevin Warren keeps bringing up. The first game today
bonkers
was crazy.
Bonkers.
Well, you take
bonkers. I mean, Mason and I were sitting up in the box, and all of us were up there, and we were just wondering, Georgetown's, Notre Dame's up 12-6 with, I want to say, 6 or 7 minutes left in the third quarter. We're all like, this thing's over.
I didn't even watch it until Mason said, wake up, this is a game.
We were like, this thing's over. And then Penn State scores the next 8 goals of the game. I can't even put together, no one could believe what was going on up in that box at all.
Guys, Penn State and Maryland, 2 Big Ten teams in the Final Four. Don't tell me that Big Ten schedule, as tough as it is, and the fact that both teams lost big games, isn't a plus.
And interesting, both Final Four games are going to be rematches from the regular season, right?
Right.
Penn State wins
Beat
at
Cornell.
Cornell. All three of their starting attackmen out of that game. They go up to Cornell and beat them by a goal, 11-10, something, if I recall, somewhere around that. And Maryland beat Syracuse in College Park 11-7 in week 3. Syracuse in their game, they really acted like that quarterfinal win was their title game. And you got to wonder, are they going to suffer the same thing that Ohio State did? They climbed their mountain and couldn't recover the next week. That's what I'm wondering about.
Well, there'll be
in that Final Four.
20,000 Syracuse fans there.
The
All right.
fact that Syracuse is there means a lot of people are going to be there.
That-
You going to be in Boston?
Absolutely.
Of course.
Hey, are we the second game? What? Of course we're the second.
You're going to make it?
I'll make it. And just, you got to give him a shout out. Trainer, I mean, absolutely unreal today.
Jeez.
Like, guys in his last game, and when it came down to it, you know, he scores, what, six or seven?
I just put him on his back. Some of those were Superman
What
goals.
happened to Notre Dame, though? It's like they didn't get a shot off that was worthy.
They didn't do anything in the fourth
Yeah, I
quarter.
mean-
It was wild. They actually didn't even get the face-offs. Interesting thing, too, Sean Light, you know, really phenomenal defenseman for Notre Dame. I mean, legitimately phenomenal defenseman. He's on Kyle Lehman, and Light normally erases those matchups. Lehman got a hat trick today.
Did
Yeah,
you
it
go?
was-
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it was just nothing went right. Will Lynch doesn't win the faceoffs. Riccardelli can't give them a save. They don't really force Fracion, who's been, I mean, all over the place these last couple of weeks, this whole entire year, to really make saves. And in the end, they just couldn't hit the back of the net. Couple chances to make it a 1-goal game with less than a minute. One-on-one on the crease, and sometimes it just doesn't go your way. And after back-to-back, eventually it was going to go not their way.
The epic empire of Notre Dame officially ended today with 2 championships in a row, and they were great. Of course, they'll tell you they really won 3 in a row, even though they weren't in the tournament. But 2 years in a row, they were clearly the best team, and they were darn good this year.
All right, guys, we got to wrap it up. There'll be a lot more this week, and then we'll all be in Boston. For Tony, Bruce, for Mason, I'm Wayne. Thank you for watching. Maryland 9, Georgetown 6. We will see you at the Final Four.